We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Good evening. I'm Mills Lane. Rocking it solo, or folks would like to join this conversation that apparently nobody knows what I'm going to talk about. You can click on the link provided, and from there you'll be able to join said show. I'm the first comment, so I will give myself a shameless plug. Good evening. Good evening. Franchise catering. I gotta learn about you. 'Cause first comments get the plug. You feel me? So we got to learn about you. Maybe hit that link and tell us all about your business. Salute the Ruckus Radio Podcast. Been a first commenter for many times, and very, 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 very respected on these YouTube streets. Salute the Redemption Song 76. It's always great to see you. And yes, Mumble Mills drop a freestyle. All right. All right, off the top. We don't have a script. Got a couple things I'm gonna talk about. All right, Steph from the Morning Rant. All right, now I give you that plug all day. I know about your work on the Morning Rant. Steph be putting it in. Steph got jokes. Steph gives me hope for the state of Florida. You know what I'm saying? Salute. And thanks for joining me on American Culture Topics. My co-host, Trap Gardner, is not here this evening. It's Trap's day off. He's taking a vacation day. And, there's no, you want a vacation day, you get a vacation day. You know what I'm saying? Right? Right, Redemption Song? Damn sure didn't know it was him, right? Salute to Mike Weary. That's right. Shay Way in the house. Yep. I be saying Shay Way where they don't like it and they get mad. Tell me I'm food, but I ain't hearing it. You know what I'm saying? And of course, to get it started, Rip Grizz Graphics. So for those who may not be familiar, Grizz Graphics was one of the banner creators for Star in the Morning and some Star's other shows, as well as for the content for other people that was on the page. He would make banners for everybody, alongside Bronx Pacino, and RIP to Bronx Pacino as well. They kind of were the competing banner makers in that sector. So we salute those gentlemen on this day. Rip Grizz Graphics, that's in full effect. I'm saying, yeah, Trap's on we're taking a day off. Take a day off, Trap. When Trap gets back, we'll likely we'll have our show lined up, and we'll try to get our show on the Ranners Network. So that's our next stop on the tour, on tour. We stopped at Ruckus Radio Podcast. We stopped at Behind the Bar, and next will be potentially, more than likely, the Ranners Network. So, all right, I'm going to. All right, he made the early hunt banners. Okay, yeah. I mean, Star gave him the big up. Star gave him the big up, and yeah, he's out there. He's no longer with us. Like I said, salute to that man and rest in peace. It would have been hard for me. Oh, yeah, the mumble. All right. Let me get the mumble on. Boom, 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 boom. Cash driving down the lane. I would not complain. I just got to maintain doing my damn thing off the top of the brain. You know what I'm saying? I'll be Mills Lane. This is what I'm saying. Moving down the lane. I got to maintain. Cash moving insane. I using my brain. Got be Mills Lane. Lane gang. Just saw that thing popped up in the chat. That's where it's at. Got to get this and that. Never stopping stat. Never checking stats. Only checking them racks. Only checking these bats. Only checking these claps. I'm doing these things. Mills Lane saying, insane in the membrane. Cypress Hill. Oh, I feel. Kind of be real. Just be Mills. All right, Mumble Mills. Enough Mumble Mills. Hold on. Sorry. Hey, Redemption, you know I be trying to rap sometimes. All right. I do got one topic. Let's start off with the most recent news that's out there at this moment. Wait, hold on. Let me stop. I just saw something. That's that sober flow, right? All I had was a chorus light. Yeah, you know. That's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? Salute Cali. But we're gonna start out with the first story coming by way of I think Illinois. People are familiar with this guy, and he apparently his name is R. Kelly, Robert Kelly. He was allegedly attacked by a pissed off inmate today. Okay. I mean, Mr. Kelly, what's wrong, bro? What's wrong? So apparently, from what I read, I'll take a quick peek again to make sure I'm not talking stupid. A frustrated inmate just walked in the cell and jumped in there and started giving them that work, started punching on them. So from what I saw in the news report, Mr. Kelly was sitting in his cell, and this inmate was apparently upset because there was a lockdown in the prison or jail or whatever based on protesters for R. Kelly outside, causing an uproar. So the guy's like, man, I'm tired of this singing, dude. All that bull. However, inmates get upset. And then he walked in the cell and just started swinging. It didn't last long because, of course, the guards, they showed up like, hey, make sure that guy, he has to get his sentence, So they broke up the fight. But some of the things I was thinking about, we got somebody adding themselves to the stream, and they have a name. I don't see a picture yet, but they do have their Cash App, so maybe they can help us on this name here. Welcome to American Culture Topics.
How you doing, man?
Oh, okay. What's up? That voice sound familiar.
What are you guys talking about?
The topic of the moment, and my co-host is not here today. He's on his vacation day.
Oh, yeah.
R&B singer songwriter Robert Kelly was attacked in his cell today by another inmate.
Okay, well, I want to talk about that. I actually just saw that today. Uh, Despite how famous Mills, this is Labuto, man. What's up, man?
Of course. What's up?
Okay, what's up?
How you feeling today, Mr. Labuto?
Real good, man. Been doing a lot of work. A lot of your stream came up on my phone, so I'm taking a little break real quick.
You've done the right thing. You've
Yeah,
subscribed to the channel.
absolutely.
And you hit the notification bell so that when we go live, you're aware.
Absolutely, man. I get a lot of notifications all day, man. I try to get into as many lives as possible in between work. Yeah. Right. So the thing is that I just saw that R. Kelly thing like an hour ago. I'm not surprised. The law of the streets and the law of the jungle. I mean, mind you, I've never been in a penitentiary, but I did work in law enforcement, like I told you guys in the other room years ago. Right after college. And the law of the streets and the law of the jungle is that you don't mess with, children. And I'm not saying he messed with children. Well, I guess he did with that one video from years ago. But the thing is that it's a big no-no amongst prisoners about, underage children or children. and people who really can't protect themselves. And remember, he's always going to be a target because, I mean, despite the fact that he may not be as wealthy as he once was, he's still a person that is very famous and a person that will get you clout if you were to attack him. So, yeah, I mean, it was only inevitable that it'll happen. And, you know, despite the fact that R. Kelly is 6'2", 6'3", he's still touchable like anybody in the penitentiary is. It doesn't matter how big he is.
Yeah, and I think what you are referring to is in jail they call it a skin beef.
See, I didn't know that.
It's all good.
Skin beef? I'm not familiar with that.
So if you have to happen to ever end up in a prison, and that's on your docket, if you were messing with minors, and it's on your paperwork, and they say, "Hey man, see that Labuto fella? You know he think he's slick, but he ain't here on a skin beef."
Yeah. Now, how do you know about prison lingo?
How do I know about prison lingo? Good question.
Yeah, I mean, you don't seem like you've ever been in the penitentiary.
I am an American historian, sir.
Okay.
That doesn't just encompass the books.
Right.
It also encompasses the culture. That's why I did a show, trying to gear around American culture. So I just learn about things and places, and I don't take anybody as somebody I can't learn from. So particular video disappeared. I learn a lot from comedians.
Okay.
Yeah. So this comedian that I learned from in particular was Patrice O'Neal about the skin beef.
I'm very familiar with Patrice O'Neal. Yeah, rest in peace.
May he rest in peace as well. But but what the story says, I'm laughing. Oh, my son's watching on the YouTube. That's funny. What the story says is that I was telling everybody there was a lockdown in his jail because his correctional center, I should say.
Sure.
And the reason was behind it was because his fans were outside and they were protesting. So they facility on lockdown.
Hello, Mills. Your phone is. I think that's you. Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah. So now, what happened? Now you said that.
Probably. Okay, probably broke down. His the prison was put on lockdown because of R. Kelly's fans being outside.
Okay.
See, so I didn't know that. Okay. That ended up. So that made the prisoner upset. He walked in and just started, giving him the 1-2s. I was concerned when I first heard about the story. I thought the prisoner was like mocking him, like he got in the cell and said, I can't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind, Kelly.
Okay.
Right. That would have been terrible.
Yeah, if he was singing his lyrics right before he beat his ass, that
or he might have been trying to take his ass.
Yeah.
Because that's also well known in American culture that a lot of that goes down.
So now a lot of people don't know this about R. Kelly, but R. Kelly is a tall man. He's about 6'1" or 6'2". And do you think he was attacked by somebody his height or smaller? Because that would be funny if it was somebody short.
He's on the bed, and you're not in the right position. And the prisoner walked in and might have been like Redemption song says, "You got that vibe,
Mm-hmm.
you got that vibe." That could have happened too. You know what I'm saying? And this might actually help him, because his lawyers was trying to get him out of jail. Cali Connected saying, "Peace to Cali Connected." It might help him get out of prison. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, hey, now this guy is being attacked. So,
I don't think he's going to get out of prison because now, when the FBI, not the FBI, I'm sorry, when the feds bring up a case, that's pretty much it. And if I'm not mistaken, he's serving state time as well, right? Or he will be serving state time. right?
Mm.
So he'd be serving state,
Well,
and then I'm pretty sure he'd be going to federal trial, and then again, eventually he'd be convicted and go to federal prison.
Yeah, so it's something to hear. I got a name in here. All right. Salute to. All right.
Selena Elliott.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's checking us out on the Facebook page.
Okay.
There's a Mills Lane Facebook page out there, and we're there. It's not. I don't be all crazy on Facebook.
So did you hear about that one chick who gave a NBA basketball player head, and I guess it was on OnlyFans, or I don't know, the whole story behind it, but she got like $100,000 in one day.
Wait a minute. No, I'm not familiar about this. Now, what's this lady's name?
Let me look it up real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me look it up. So the girl's girl's name is
Salute Bonnet.
Oh my God.
Is this some Bella lady?
I don't know what are they saying in the chat. Is it?
No. We don't be paying attention to all of this. These ladies.
Let me see.
Why are you getting that together?
Yeah, I think her name is AG or AG. Oh my God, I don't know.
I've seen something with some basketball player, but he had a tranny chick.
Yeah, IG model who sucked up 7 Phoenix Suns players is reaping.
Oh, okay. We'll keep it nice.
Oh, yeah. That's.
No,
I was just reading.
Don't worry. My co-host he goes wild, Trap Gardner. But I'm sitting here thinking that I've heard about this 7 Phoenix Suns players, right?
Yeah, it's pretty filthy.
And from what I heard was she kept the change.
Yeah.
So she gave head to 7 Phoenix Suns players, and she kept the change.
Yeah.
She, in baseball right now, the rules are because of COVID, you can't spit. So,
so she swallowed.
So she decided to not spit.
Okay.
All right. This
Yeah,
chick was on No Jumper. Okay, so No Jumper. All right, salute to them.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like this pandemic has women reverting back to their natural state. The oldest profession in the world is prostitution, right?
So to speak on the culture of prostitution, it is literally. It starts out with you hear about women, and salute to Miss Betty, and you hear about women, and you hear about the exchanges and stuff like that. Yeah, it's Librico. But now prostitution is really people feeling like they pimp themselves. And salute to California being 4:20 in the PM. So
you mind if I ask a question real quick?
Yes, sir.
Redemption Song 76. Would it be possible if you cam dump so I can answer your question? And I'm not trying to troll. I really would like to answer your question. So if you were,
so what's the question? Well,
I said natural state. I said women are reverting back to their natural state, and then she had natural state question mark. So I want to expound upon that if she's interested. Yeah.
And I salute the behind the bar. Yeah. Trying to steal Miss Betty. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I see what you're doing behind the bar.
But yeah, you were about to.
What's poppin', slime?
So you said you're about to expound upon.
No, I was just saying. When the likelihood of it is prostitution is really of everybody. People have begun to prostitute themselves, and in the terminology of pimping themselves.
Yeah.
So people go the extra mile and put themselves out there. I am putting myself on the internet, and trying to, not win over people, but try to create something that continues to grow into something great.
Okay.
Provided off the idea. Now,
Okay, can I ask you a question real quick?
What's good?
So you have said everybody is capable of being prostituted, right? So
No, but I did grow up listening to WWF with
okay,
Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and his song was
can I,
about everybody has a price and
yeah,
everybody's got
okay.
to pay. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. So since you're the host, let me ask you a question, right?
Feel free.
If there was an 80-year-old white woman who said, Mills, I have a fetish, and my fetish is to get black men in my house to do chores for me, but while you're doing the chores, I want to be able to beat you and, of course, to be sexual favors. And she said she would pay you $1 million. Would you do that? Like, and she could call you a nigger boy, all types of things. Would you let her do that?
You said $1 million. Is that like per
Well,
day?
it's after like a 3 month. It's like a 3 month contract. Like after the 3 months, you'll get your $1 million. But you could live in the house, but she could beat you. Go ahead.
And that's the thing. The contract has to be written in the language that I agree with.
Sure.
So, she can't die on me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, of
when I
course,
don't
there'd
get
be a
my
clause
money.
for
Or,
that. Right.
no,
right.
but you just, and, I have, if she's doing it, her 80-year-old strength's kind of weak, what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I can negotiate that. And that's kind of the thing. It's like, are you able to negotiate yourself into those positions? This is America, value for value, capitalism at the end of the day.
Right.
So, but as far as, I might not be comfortable with her saying the N-word. So
Okay.
I might have to say, you know what, I can't deal with that N-word. We got to figure out something else to call me.
Okay. Okay.
And that's the thing. But like I said, still everybody can pimp themselves, but you have to have a bar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to have a level of what you are and what you are not going to put up with.
So, going back to the lady who sucked off supposedly all these Suns players.
Yeah.
I wonder I wonder how true that is, and I wonder, did she do that during the bubble? It's a lot of questions I have about that. Like,
because how did she get in the bubble?
Yeah.
Who did she belong to in the bubble? Because
Yeah.
family and relations, like relationships, those people weren't allowed to come into the bubble at this time. They weren't
Right.
supposed to be able to come in until after, I think, the first round of the playoffs.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying as far as getting into the bubble.
Right.
So,
well, I guess what makes it so bad if this story is true, then each basketball team is 7 to 14 players. So she has sucked off literally 50% of the team. Whereas the NFL, 7 players are a very small percentage, and not to mention the NBA. You don't find elite players like that anywhere. So I think that's more catastrophic if she really did that. And the players were really involved in this. It's not like the NFL where you got random guys on the team at one point and you can cut them and get some other kid from the lower ranks to come up and play. The NBA is really unique because everybody is a superstar for the most part.
Well, I'll stand on the facts of the whole thing. The Phoenix Suns were able to go into the bubble and perform very well. They won all of their games.
Yeah.
And, nobody was called out for being sick. So,
right. But imagine if they
she
did get
didn't
sick.
have it, if she didn't have it, and they didn't have it, or none of them so far, none of them have had any type of diseases.
Right.
So
right. Well, I'm just saying, imagine if they would have gotten sick, though. Like she
sick
literally,
like what? They would have had chlamydia.
I'm talking about like COVID or even an STD or something.
Yeah, right. That would have been sad if all of those players, ended up with chlamydia.
Right. Like I said, it's not like the
worse.
NFL. 70 some players on the team. Including the practice squad.
Like I said, them guys play pretty good, and
right.
We're in this perfect era of women's. No, I'm not gonna say perfect. That's not the right word. I'm sorry. We're in a better era for women's rights. So that woman actually had the right. She gave consent, and she didn't leave behind a drop.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So that is a great topic, sir. I'll thank you for bringing it up to the forefront. Do you have anything you wish to plug at this time?
Let me see, man. Oh, I would like to talk about the shooting in where was it at? In Texas? The Jake
Oh,
Blake shooting? No, where was it at?
so now I have this is I think it's Kenosha, Kenosha,
Kenosha.
Wisconsin. I'm
Yeah.
probably getting it wrong, but I got a
Okay.
tab about that as well,
Okay.
about
Well.
father actually. Jacob Blake's father says his son is handcuffed to the bed. Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yeah. I think that the shooting was 110% justified.
Okay.
I think that as a black man, especially if you have children, you should never put your children in a position of danger. Period. So supposedly to the story, he's breaking up a fight, which was a numero uno. If you have children and a fight occurs, you need to get you and your children the fuck up. I'm sorry, out of there as soon as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, the police come and the police are telling him to stop. They're trying to give him a command. He's not doing it. And they don't know why he's going into the car. And you can see from the video he is reaching. Now he may have went to the car. Now my theory is he may have went to the car to check up on his kids. Okay, that's a possibility. But then again, is why even put your children in that position anyway in the first place? So he goes to the car, he opens the door, he reaches in, and the police shoot him because they gave him a command. They don't know whether he's gonna pull out a gun or a knife or not, And I really feel like black people again are marching for an irrelevant cause. Like you're marching for again somebody who is committing a crime, who's not obeying officers commands and etc. And I'm not saying like what happened to him is a good thing, but I do believe that the shooting was justified 100%.
Well, and you have that, that opinion. Salute to Big 72C.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us here on American Culture Topics. As you can see, there's no trap, no topics, no script. We are talking about things that are affecting us today. I talked about this on the Lane, excuse me, I talked about the actual Jacob Blake incident on my show, The Lane, yesterday. And for those who don't know, The Lane can be seen on this channel. Sometime, at least once a week. I'm trying to do at least once a week. But my thing was, I assessed 32% of blame to Jacob Blake, and I assessed 68% of the blame to the police. I think they came into the scene and wrong. The call was about women having some type of issue. Uh, he doesn't look like a woman, so for them to bother him and de-escalating.
No,
No
your audio is
audio.
good now. It was choppy at first, but it's good now.
Okay, but it was having the scene de-escalated, not properly taking care of the situation, not dealing with the situation properly is definitely something that hinders and hurts his their case.
You're talking about the police officers not de-escalating the situation, right?
Yes, and not securing the area properly.
Yeah.
It just all in all did a terrible job.
What
Terrible.
I've always said
And
that most police officers suck at their jobs anyway. I feel like a lot of, they're not trained good enough. I feel like a lot of officers should have at least some sort of like level of education. They should increase training I think training sometimes in some cities are 6 months. I think training should be like a year and a half. I feel like also a lot of police officers should live in the actual area that they police. There's a lot of factors, man.
can I ask you this?
Yes.
Should the training be um, what's my word? I'm lost for a word here, but specialized training for urban areas,
Absolutely.
specialized training for different neighborhoods,
Yeah,
Like,
I
you know,
believe that. So
they're going through a police academy, but they might just get the basic. Okay, you pull somebody over, you know, and it's a dark area. Should they deal with, like, shouldn't you tell the cop to use his horn and say, well, pull into where the light is, or so, like, it should be some type of rules of engagement as well for different types of areas. I don't think that is the case, and I think we're suffering as a society because of it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, you're definitely right. I think that there does need to be a reform in the rules of engagement. Obviously, certain tactics are good in certain situations, but like you say, if I'm training to be an officer and I'm training for some suburb of 1,000 people and it's no crimes at all, then yeah, I should have basic training. But then if I'm training to be in the inner cities of Chicago or the inner cities of Detroit or the inner cities of Cleveland or Cincinnati, then absolutely there should be specialized training. There should be
Yeah.
specialized training on how to de-escalate with teenagers, how to de-escalate situations with mental, because there's a lot of mental illness in the inner city, and they should have training on de-escalation with mental illness, and people who have mental illnesses. Because when I worked in the mental health field, we had specialized training on how to not subdue but restrain individuals, and not restrain them and hurt them, but restrain them and keep them safe. And I
And
believe. Mhm.
I hear you. And I was just checking in the chat. Redemption Song 76 says it exists, but it does not work. Often tone deaf, biased, and with a reference to stereotypes.
Yeah.
So, okay, going back, and it's like starting over again. It's like if I'm a cop, and I go through all of this training, I passed the test, with a C minus, but I passed. Y'all gonna put me in probably the worst neighborhood because, or the best and easiest neighborhood, and I work my way in whatever, vice versa, and then I have to, work and deal with maybe a Latino teenager, somebody I maybe never seen ever, or a white teenager. Like I've never seen. Maybe I never had to deal with white teenagers outside of,
Oh, okay.
going to
Well,
high school.
okay. Let me. All right. So if I could put this into perspective, right? So the situation that happened with George Floyd, right? Now, George Floyd was, if I'm not mistaken, 6'4", 6'5". He's a heavy set guy. He's a big guy, right?
Okay.
You would think that these officers, who probably were at the tallest, maybe 5'11", 6 foot, would have ascertained that situation better. Listen, when I worked in the mental health field, there were kids who were like 13 and 14 who had, I mean, incredible strength. One of the strongest people that I've ever engaged with was a girl. I'm not gonna put her name out, but we had to restrain her one time, and it took like 5 of us to restrain her. And this is a 13-year-old girl.
Right.
And what I'm saying is that, not saying that the rules of engagement in the suburbs are different, but let's just be completely honest. In the suburbs, generally speaking, the people that you're going to engage with live in that area. So because they live there, you don't have the expectation of extreme violence at most times. But in the inner city, it's different. It's a bigger geographical location, and you don't really know what you're dealing with. George Floyd was on drugs at the time. He may have suffered from mental illnesses. And on top of the fact, this dude is
Well,
huge. They should have engaged him totally different.
so is that something that's taught? You see what I'm saying? I
It
don't
probably
know.
is taught.
Is it taught to where it's known? And I say that because it's easy in the world that I live in, especially in the workplace. If there's a code of conduct. So if something happens, if they can look into this code of conduct book and see that was something that is not in the rule book. Now, if you find the gray area, salute to you for that. But if it's written clear as day on how things are handled, then maybe we would have a better understanding of how things can be handled.
Again, right. Yep. And I agree. I know this, man. Common sense would tell me, if I'm 5'7", and my partner is 5'8", and this dude right here is 6'7" and 270 pounds, I'm gonna try to think about, okay, how can we de-escalate this? Because physically speaking, we're gonna have to put our all into this, and it may end up bad for him because we're gonna be fighting out of desperation. We're gonna be trying to arrest him out of desperation, and we may do something to him that we wouldn't necessarily do to somebody who was our size, because we're really arresting him off of fright. Now imagine, you being white and not, being around blacks in your own community, and then seeing this big dude. It's I agree with you, man. There's certain ways to. There needs to be some sort of reform and some sort of way to, I guess, revamp the system itself as a whole.
Okay. Yeah, so and it's just something to think about. We don't know all the answers, but we know that their answers do exist. There are solutions, and like I said, it would be nice that a cop can just pull out this book, says, "This is how we handle this type of situation." That's what the body cam shows, or that's what these people's video camera shows. So this is why it had to happen the way it did. And then we can all sit back and go, oh, it's kind of what my issue is with Mr. Jacob Blake's case. It's like I'm watching him walk in front of the car. I'm watching it take place between 8 to 11 seconds before he's shot. And I'm like, wait a minute. I understand fear for my life. I had no choice. It was a quick hesitation. I had no chance to hesitate. I shot versus I watched him for 8 to 11 seconds before I decided to shoot him.
Right.
Before I decided he needed to be shot. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's kind of what I look at. And I've been talking about this since the first time I noticed some type of police and civilian activity. Like, what are the rules of engagement? Why isn't this something that's clear cut that I know that the cops have to follow? Even if that means people are trying to outsmart it. Well, that's the game. That's the whole game. You tell me I can't go but no faster than 55. I decide to go 65. If I figure out a way to, get some type of radar blocker that stops you from checking my speed, or I'm watching a Waze app and somebody's notifying me that it's a cop nearby and I decide to slow down, then it's part of the game. Then it's their chance. They may have to figure out a way to catch me.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I'm listening, and you definitely are right. But when I was a part of a lot of black groups back in the day, I've always been an advocate that black people should be policed by other black people. And I think one of the big problems is that in a lot of these major cities, we have too many whites in urban neighborhoods that don't know the geography, don't know the people. And like I say, if you're a cop and you're a black man, let's say you're, 30, 40, 50, and you go to a house and there's a woman there, an old woman, a woman of a certain age, children there, you can relate to that family because that's how because your mother's probably the same age or your grandmother's the same age. Whereas you have a white man, he's coming to a house and there's this chaos and he doesn't understand black people at all. So you're putting him in an alien environment, period. Especially in the Midwest where I live at, where it's very segregated. Like in Cleveland, for example, man, it's the funniest thing. The east side of Cleveland is so black, but the majority of the police officers tend to be white boys.
And that's fair till you study in America that there are a lot more factions of black people than I care to thought. And there's just too many different factions of black people that you might have a criminal element. You also have churchgoers. You have those who don't associate with other black people at all. You have those who only care about their self-interest, whether it's LGBTQ or RBG, and things of that nature. So you have so many different factions of black that you can have to end up with the same results. Particularly if you have a black person that just goes off of stereotypes anyway.
Well, I mean, okay, so so that's a good point, and people have argued with me about that as well. But my thing is, okay, what are the current case studies to suggest that? All right, so for example, let's take a city like Jackson, Mississippi, right, which is predominant. I think Jackson is like 90-something% black, and their police force is mainly black. Now, do black officers in that city shoot and kill black residents during traffic stops at a high rate? I get what you're saying, but I'm pretty sure there's some case studies that will either suggest what you're saying or suggest the opposite, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, like I said, Jackson is 90-something% black, and I don't hear nothing about Jackson, Mississippi. And I'm pretty sure there's police shootings down there, but you don't really hear about it. And their police force is predominantly black.
Well, fair enough. Do you have it? No, well, we're early, but I wanted to get into our next topic, which is.
Do you want to keep me cammed up, or what's up?
It's this day in history. No, you can stay. I'm camming up anybody who wanted to cam up. We trying to branch out a little bit into that part of the game, and since my co-host isn't here, it's I don't mind.
So what's the other topic?
Well, this is the segment called This Day in History.
Sure.
So, on this day in history, we have this fella here. Let me know if you know who this guy is.
Oh, Mike Vick.
There you go. NFL star Mike Vick in 2007 pleaded guilty in a dogfighting case.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting. Oh, Miss Betty says she's never seen a predominantly black police force in a white neighborhood.
Oh, that would never ever happen.
Child, I have.
Where?
It's a richer part of Philadelphia. It don't even have a name.
And it's a black police force, but they're policing whites?
Yeah, trust me. There's nothing going on up there.
Jeez.
It's just a bunch of rich people. And if you think
they're
about
not really policing them, they're really
protecting them.
Protecting them.
Exactly.
And
if you want good protection, right?
Yeah.
Look at the NFL. All right. So I'm gonna cam myself down for one quick second, and then I'll be back. So yes, Michael Vick, 2007, pleaded guilty to dogfighting. And was sentenced to 23 months in prison. So the timeline of the story was, we're like, okay, Michael Vick, NFL superstar, and by way of NFL quarterback position, and also very mobile and agile with his feet, very fast guy. He had, properties, and I believe it's Virginia. It was discovered that he had dozens of pit bulls on the property.
Right.
He wasn't the only guy that got locked up. Other guys that got locked up were some a cousin of his, I believe, Parnell Peace, Quantis Phillips, Tony Taylor. And they pretty much, from what I've seen from the storyline, when they got brought in there, and everybody realized it was Michael Vick's house, they walk up to them like, so y'all gonna roll on them or what? And they didn't have any problem pleading against the guy, or I'm testifying against him in court. So when it first came out, the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Blank, I believe, he talked to Michael Vick. Michael Vick told him he didn't do anything. Then a week later, when everybody started telling on him, then he had to, confess to it. Some of the bad parts about this was the fact that they said basically he was killing the dogs. So whether in a lot of barbaric ways, like drowning or electrocution, or just hanging the dogs, he just was doing a lot of, So this country, what Michael Vick must didn't understand, this country values dogs more than his black ass. So, and I don't say that with no disrespect to Michael Vick, but PETA, all sorts of companies was just like, they wanted mob justice on this guy. So, hold up, I got some comments in here. They took that L. We did Vic dirty. He was in the Commonwealth. That's right. And when you're in the Commonwealth, dogs hold more value than his life. Facts on American culture. Dog fighting is barbaric. Yes. So 2 years, and he did the time. When he got out, he was like, I want to play football. And every team turned him down except one, my Philadelphia Eagles. You see what I'm saying? My Philadelphia Eagles. And they gave him a chance. He ended up signing with them and getting his career back on track. He was Donovan McNabb's backup, but then he was able to get this chance at a starting job. Ended up getting contract. He was in debt. He ended up getting the contract to get himself out of debt. So he ended up really turning his life around. And it's a good success story of people actually deserving a second chance. So it's pretty even keeled there. You have any other thoughts on Michael Vick?
Yeah, I grew up a Michael Vick fan, especially in high school when he first came out of college or whatever. And they did Mike dirty, and I'm gonna tell you why. Just like you said, this country values dogs over black men, and actually they do. I have, even though I've gone on my racial tirades on the other channels, I still, like I told you before, I still associate with whites. I still, I go to their house, they invite me over. And one thing I noticed about whites is that they, more whites are dog owners than blacks. In the black culture, we really aren't really pets. We don't really own pets in a large scale. And if you look at blacks throughout the world, blacks generally, and don't take my word for it, you can just look it up. Blacks generally don't own pets. So, well, I mean, like I said, don't take my word for it. I said, just do your own, do your own research. But, it could just be my opinion. But what I'm saying is that I've gone to their households, and what they will do is their house seems to be built around their pet, like the living room, the stairs, like they have the barrier so the pets won't hurt themselves. And so what I mean is, like, I've gone to white colleagues of mine's house or houses, and for dinner, when we're eating, they will let the dog eat at the table with them. And I mean, like, eat at the table. Like, they will have a chair for the dog, and the dog will sit on the chair and eat off the bowl, which is on the fucking table. I have seen, remember I told you, like, my little brother, he is with a white woman right now. He just had a child a few months ago, and they invited me over to their house one time, and they washed the bowls that the dogs eat out of in the sink with the other dishes that the humans use.
And that's it. But it's a culture thing.
It's a culture thing, right?
Because
so
we'll have family portraits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be the mother, the father, the kids, right? But in those people houses that you were talking about visiting,
mm-hmm. Hey, Ross girl caping for dogs. Pay attention. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Other people have had pets too. I mean, but I've seen the mother, the father, the kids, and the dog in the pictures.
Right. And I'm right. And I think that's not normal. And so what I think what happened with Mike. Well, I'm just saying, it's just my opinion. I'm not saying that your opinion is wrong or mine is right. I'm just saying it's my opinion. And what I'm saying is the reason why Mike was thrown under the bus is because whites, like, they literally view their dogs like human beings, and it's I've seen it, and it's the wildest thing to me. Like, they will avoid walking on the same sidewalk with you as a black, because it's happened to me before, especially in Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland is super racist.
Oh,
They
no.
will avoid trying to walk with you on the same side of the street. Like, they will walk into the street to avoid walking with you. And I'm talking about like on a residential street.
Okay. Well, I'm just happy. I gotta break this news real quick.
What happened?
Oh man, I got a dislike gang. Wow. I feel honored. So to the dislike gang that joined, the seen the show, clicked on it, and dislike. Wow, I like that. That's status, man.
Yeah. So
Hold up, man. I didn't see this comment. Did you grow up with a pet lemur trying to talk about people?
you talking about me? Like, they were.
Yeah.
No, but like I was saying, like, white culture, they love their animals and they love dogs, and it's and like I say, whites love their dogs and they love their white women, and like that's paramount. And if you
Oh,
mess with
okay.
those two things, they will build a prison for your black ass. And that's what happened with Mike Vick. They didn't give a shit whether Mike Vick was a superstar or not. He messed with the two things that you cannot touch with in this country.
Well, I see, I've seen 3 people comment and that I know identify as black, and they talking about how they have pets. So
Well,
I
they didn't hear what I said. I said,
I
generally
know.
speaking, blacks in large don't have pets
Like I
compared to
said,
whites.
I can only agree with you on the status of the pet. The way the picture taken and things like that.
It's stupid. It's dumb.
Well, that's I mean, it's
It's
harmless.
stupid.
It's harmless.
No, it's not. It's dumb,
It
and we
becomes
copy.
harmful when you like we were saying earlier, when somebody decides to take a pet's life over a human. I had a bad morning this morning. I'm driving and there's a raccoon. He's laying in the road,
Ugh.
but he's not done. But he's like in the middle of the road, but it's not over yet. And
You should have put him out of his misery.
the lights were on and he's waving. He's like, oh, and I was like, I'm gonna run over. I'm gonna ride over top of you. Like, I'm not,
You should have put him out of his misery.
Nah.
I mean, he was in agony anyway. You might as well have ended it for him.
Let's let him enjoy it. Well, you're right about the agony, but
yeah, he was in agony.
Nah, I believe in letting your agony dealing with your agony.
If you're a human being.
Yeah. Pretty Eyes T say you're reaching. So
Rouse girl said, "I'm not about to lose my life not to hit an animal, though." Real talk.
Oh yeah. He was so in the middle of the road, like I didn't have to like swerve or nothing. He was just there, and I was like, I don't even know how you got hit being in that spot.
Right.
But he might have put his head up and got clunked or something. But
yeah, but no, that's the reason why they did what they did to Mike Vick, because they love dogs.
Yeah, he got that work.
Yeah, they love their dogs more than human beings. We're black people, so
Well, I think the dislike gang might have happened when we were talking about the Phoenix Suns and stuff. I bet.
No, it probably happened with the animal thing, because I see everybody in the chat talking about animals.
Because I was thinking about something. I've been a side note. We're going to wrap this up soon. I just want to get this off my chest. I got people that I support, but they don't like how I support them, and they say, "Oh my goodness." I say, "Well, no, that's my character. That's always been my character. I'm not going to fake a character for you unless I'm actually faking a character."
Right.
So, whatever happens with those folks happens. I care about them, but if they don't care about me, that's fine. If they don't tell me, it's fine as well. They just better not get in my face, acting like they do care. I want the truth. I start the show saying we hold these truths to be self-evident, and that's the key.
I just want to point out that Ross Girl's a lunatic. She said I had 2 dogs, Justice and Liberty. I had a car seat, beds, and the whole 9 for them. Jesus Christ.
Man,
I can't imagine.
I can't even find that one.
Huh?
I can't find that comment, but hey, that's how it go.
Yeah.
That's how it go, man. Let these humans live, you know what I'm saying?
Miss Betty said she's sad over that raccoon that died. Oh my God.
Let these humans live, man. What did Mills even do?
Let me ask you a question. Speaking of Mike Vick, do you think those 2 years affected his game?
No. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
First of all, he needed a break because he was putting a lot of pressure on his body because being fast is great, but that no fear attitude can get you in trouble in the NFL, especially as a quarterback, because people want to hurt you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People want to hurt the quarterback. So the NFL gives you an opportunity as a quarterback to not get hurt by simply sliding. The problem is he doesn't want to slide.
Right.
So for him not wanting to slide, he ends up getting himself hurt. And so when he got with the Eagles, you know, the coaches were saying the same thing. Hey, guy, you get that first down, do that thing, salute to Ja, Logic and Friends, Ja. As soon as Trap come back, we will be on tour at the Ranners Network, at the Ranners Union, of course. But yeah, and they were telling Mike Vick to slide, and he would never slide. Like he might slide 1 or 2 times and then go back to playing his normal way. His field vision wasn't that great, but having mobility and arm strength, you know, was able to negate that. The problem is he just didn't want to slide, give himself up, so he didn't get hurt.
Right.
He would get hurt a lot. I mean, it's, you know, it's like we're people. We want to do our thing. We're Americans. We want our freedom. But don't let your freedom get your ass whipped. I'm still angry about the dislike gang. No, I gotta harness that. I'm gonna harness the dislike gang. Yeah, dislike gang. You are nobody. In fact, I can prove it because you won't even speak up for yourself. You vote in silence. You're like these people, the silent majority that's going to vote for Trump like crazy, but they've been keeping their mouth shut.
You're not voting for Trump?
Who? Me?
You.
I'm talking about the silent majority. I'm talking about them folks that won't say nothing, but then go out there and vote like they did in 2016. You dislike mother effers, you. Eat a Frank. Okay. Other than that, it is 8:00. We are on the end of our program. I would like to thank Labudo for joining.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hopefully, I kept up with the pace of your show.
Yeah, it was. What happens is on this show, like worst story ever. It's like sometimes Trapper just go off in tangents, and you know, right now I'm enjoying it because it allows me to produce and make sure things are behind the scenes are under control. And then, but you know, and so you kept the pace. We ran into a couple of stories. We talked about current events, and we did I did my This Day in History segment. You would help me in that. So yes, I definitely appreciate you stopping by. You know, whatever that Cash App was, because I don't know what the heck it said. I understand it, but you know, maybe somebody donate to your Cash App.
Oh, okay. Thanks for promoting the Cash App.
Yeah. Cool. And Trap Gardner, like I said, he took a vacation day today. He ain't telling me to tell y'all anything, but to if you want to donate to him, just send it to my Cash App, and I will make sure he gets it. He always gets the money. until he does an expose video about me not giving him the money, which would be BS anyway.
Get that cash app.
Oh yeah. We it's promoted, but it's like it's out there. Also, don't forget, sometimes if you got a chance, check out the show The Lane. The Lane is rapidly growing. I'm trying to get in there once a week. I'm noticing there's a lane on Monday nights. Usually nobody's doing nothing. I like to try to get them in on Monday nights. If I don't get it in on Monday night, it'll be Tuesday or Wednesday. I just want to get it before American Culture Topics, and then try to develop a chance to get them in afterwards. All right, got King Twin up in the house. So salute to King Twin. Salute to everybody. I would like to thank you all for joining us here on American Culture Topics. With liberty and justice for all. Good night, Americans.
Have a good one, man.
The world. Have a good one, sir.
Yep.